I want to lead with the seniors because I looked at Missouri, as I'm sure you have as well. And you're like me, you go break down the opponent Monday or Tuesday early in the week. So we'll discuss Missouri. Don't worry about that. But I just look at these seniors, Caleb, and to go through them and look at what they have done is just absolutely phenomenal. And I don't care what happens from this point forward. Now, obviously, they're not going to lose 3 games in a row. Okay. So you're talking about a football team that's most likely going to be 11-1 and make the college football playoff or get left out in very questionable fashion or all the cards line against them. And Caleb, that's just phenomenal. We can talk about how great Josh Heupel is, and we should, and he is. But we also need to talk about this senior group that stuck around. And kudos to those guys. If they're all on Twitter nowadays, so it's an opportunity for you as a fan base to reach out if you're on the Twitter, and you better hurry because it might not be around much longer. But I mean, those guys, reach out to them if you feel like it and just say thanks because this is a very, very special group that I could make an argument for every one of the names that I'm going to mention that they should have transferred, Caleb, and they didn't. How will this group be remembered the down and dirty at 30?
I think it's going to be they're all going to be remembered in different ways because of the COVID eligibility rulings. All the senior there's so many different seniors that came at different times. I mean, because if I were to give you my most standout guy, I think of a guy like Princeton Fant more than anybody else. I mean, Princeton Fant came to Tennessee. If I'm not mistaken, he committed as an athlete, and he was in his first year was 2017, the Butch Jones year that was complete disaster. So he went through the Butch Jones year that was the worst season in Tennessee history. Then he went through 3 seasons of Jeremy Pruitt. Then he went through 2 of Josh Heupel, and throughout all of that, he had to move from linebacker to running back to tight end, back to tight end. And I'm thinking, that's a lot he went through with a lot of different coaches and a lot of different systems, and no one could really find the proper use for him. And he still stayed around. And it's worked this year because, I mean, Josh Heupel has done an amazing job of of learning how to use Princeton Fant. And I think a guy like that is just such a story.
Even threw the football. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's interesting you pick Fan out. I feel like if we took Hooker out of the equation, we would all pick a separate senior. So I'm curious what senior you on the message board that you're most proud of as a Tennessee fan. The innocent culprit says hopefully just making the playoffs doesn't become the new standard. Got to constantly strive for excellence. I'm with you there, brother. I'm with you there. We're very proud to be where we are subscriber wise, in on YouTube and the amount of listeners we have in our podcast. And by the way, we've got a special announcement coming up probably Monday. It starts with an A, ends with a P, and has a P in the middle. I'll let you decide. Brittany, but yeah, you want to constantly strive for excellence. That's what we try to do, is what everybody should try to do. And that's what Tennessee is striving to do. And really, they are taking it a step further with the NIL, which is something we're going to get to. But Brittany says, I think as long as Heupel is around, the mindset will be the best they can possibly be. He's already doing a great job of getting them into a winning mindset in year 2. Absolutely. But I want to give the players a lot of the credit if we can start the show in that fashion. And so Hendon Hooker is definitely one. There's no question about it. But who else besides Princeton Fant when you look at this group? Because I'll give you a couple of mine. And Tennessee's going to sell this game out, which excuse me, doesn't seem like the biggest thing in the world is somebody that's my age. They used to sell every single game out, but they're going to sell it out. And there was a time they weren't selling it out. I remember calling over there and saying, "Can I get a couple of tickets for me and my kids?" And it was like, yeah, sure. Do you need a parking pass? Do you need us to pick you up at the house? I mean, it was just a different type of environment. And It's not that way anymore. So, how about wide receivers? How about Cedric Tillman? Kudos to you, young man. He stayed around through the coaching fiasco. He fought back to get into the lineup when really, Caleb, he could have said, I'm just going to get ready for the NFL. He didn't do that. So, tip of the cap to him, especially when everybody's talking about Brew McCoy. And let's give Ramel Keaton a shout out. He was right there whenever he needed to be. And even though he wasn't option 1, 2, or 3 necessarily. So at the receiver group, there's 2 guys in Tillman and Keaton that'll celebrate senior day tomorrow that should not be forgotten anytime soon.
Yeah, I hold out because technically Tillman and Keaton have another year of eligibility left. I doubt Tillman's going to use it. I wouldn't use it if I were him. Go get your money. Go get money, said. Go get your money. Go get paid. And so
agreed. It'll be interesting to see if some of the guys choose not to run out there. That's what will be interesting. Now, if you can run out there and still come back, the final walk through the tee, where they do it one by one. I assume they're still going to do that. Or you can, if you don't go out there, it's a pretty clear sign you're coming back. So we'll see what Keaton is going to do.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Keaton's going to do that. Why, Ced's going to be gone next year. He's got a great chance to start. He really did a lot of good things when Ced was out throughout the past few weeks. I can't see Ramel Keaton not choosing to come back and really potentially make a name for himself next year.
Well, we'll see. I could make the argument that there's an unknown at quarterback, but yes, he definitely could come back. So let's look at some of the other ones. How about Jacob Warren at tight end, who's proven to be an incredible threat at receiver, but also you don't. I don't think we give Fant and Warren enough credit for being blockers, which we probably don't for most tight ends. But how about Jacob Warren, who obviously we like because he's a part of what we do, but Jacob Warren is a guy that has done a fantastic job, and he's a local guy. He's been around the program. He's been under Jeremy Pruitt. He's been there in the bad times, and he stuck it out, and he didn't have to. He could have got playing time somewhere else, no doubt about it.
Oh, absolutely. Jacob Warren committed to Jeremy Pruitt in 2018. Was part of, I guess we could say, one of the there was a rising tight end class at the time that people forget because it was him. I think Sean Lowe, was that the name? Sean Brown. I think Sean Brown was on there, but like a class of rising tight ends, and he's the only one who stayed around. And you're right. It's really worked out for him. And again, he's got another year of eligibility left. Princeton Fant's going to be gone. Jacob Warren he could be the full-time tight end next year, not this by committee stuff that Heupel's doing that. So,
well, Jacob announced via his podcast that you'll hear weekly that he's done after this year, barring something unforeseen that could, and that was way back before the season started. So I haven't asked him lately. His mindset could have changed, but you're right. He does have he does have 1 year left. A lot of these guys do because of COVID. I want to bring Amanda in there, and Amanda Brittany said that Jeremy Banks would probably be her favorite senior. Had some personal struggles, kicked off the team, completely turned it around. Yes, in a team of great stories, we sometimes forget about Jeremy Banks, but he's done a fantastic job as well. And he just seems like he has a great upside in the NFL.
Oh, yeah, especially going through the personal struggles that he went through. I think that builds character, and that's something that you need definitely in the NFL, especially to make it now. My thing is, and by the way, thank you for all the veterans out there, for everything that you've done to help our country, to actually just keep our country the way that it is. I just wanted to throw that out there because I know it's Veterans Day, so I appreciate everything. Continuing on from that, the one thing I'm looking at and I'm wondering about is how the NIL is going to affect the NFL. So we talked about, okay, you can leave early now. You can, if you're, junior, senior, if you have eligibility, even if you have a year or two left, you can still leave early. But how is the NIL going to affect that? Because if you can just stay in college and still play and make money, then I would say, why wouldn't you just stay in college? Especially if you're on this Tennessee team and you're sitting here at 8-1, what could you do next year? You know what I mean? You could stick around and find out like how far you could go.
True. Again, that's each person's personal decision. You would have an unknown at quarterback. You might have more opportunities. You might have financially better opportunities in the NFL or better to stay. That's everybody's personal decision. I think COVID makes it kind of confusing as well. But Dean says, thanks from a retired U.S. Army veteran, and we certainly appreciate your service. Brittany agrees there. Thanks for all the veterans. Man, I appreciate you pointing that out because that had slipped my mind. I did realize the Marine Corps Day was yesterday, which, wow, they've been around a while, like over 200 years. I mean, we talk about football, and it's been around a long time, 130 years or so. The Marine Corps has been around for like over 260 years, I believe. So kudos to those guys. We couldn't be here and do what we do without you. Obviously, thank you very much. We're blessed to have people like you because it ain't me. I could not do that. Nutrition World brings you the down and dirty at 30. Go to nutritionw.com. That's nutritionw.com for the safest, best supplements you could possibly imagine, and their e-commerce store will get you taken care of. And their e-commerce store is one of the best. That means they get it out to you quickly. That means it's very easy to navigate. You get your supplements and you'll be a return customer. Go to nutritionw.com. That's nutritionw.com. The innocent culprit says, go Army. Now, we're not going to turn Veterans Day into an Army, Navy, Air Force, everybody going against it thing. We love them all here. So, all right, some more seniors that I wanted to mention. Offensive line, Darnell Wright. How about a guy that is at left tackle, which is the money position, and the coaches come to him after starting every game last season, Caleb, and they say, move to right tackle. I might have just picked up and said, I'm going pro at that point. But he did it, and he's a more natural right tackle, as it turns out. So the coaches were right. And Caleb has probably made him money, and he's been fantastic at that position. You got to love that story too.
Yeah, there's a strong case that Darnell Wright's been the best player on the offense, and I say that with Hendon Hooker and Jalen Hyatt. I'm not kidding. Even last week against Georgia, most of the sacks came from the left side of the line. There were a lot of struggles by J.J. Crawford and Gerald Mincey. Darnell Wright was no problem on his side, and he started at right tackle under Jeremy Pruitt opposite Wanye Morris. And Darnell Wright was a 5-star. Wanye Morris was a fringe 5-star, but mostly a 4-star on most services. But Wright was the only 5-star. Morris actually got a lot more of the hype for the play of the first 2 years because they were both freshmen starting at tackle, and there was a lot of hype behind them. Morris bailed, transferred to Oklahoma. Or was it Oklahoma? Was it one of the ones?
It was Oklahoma, yeah.
How's that working out for you, buddy? But okay, sorry.
Random shot. I mean, I honestly, Caleb, don't blame anybody for transferring out.
No, I don't.
Fiasco.
I don't. It was just Oklahoma got the bulk of them because Oklahoma got Eric Gray and Key Lawrence. Look, we can be a little more savage to college athletes nowadays because of NIL money.
Oh,
because they make money. It's fair.
No, agreed. Yeah.
I used to have a policy that I was a lot when I graded games. I tried my best to not be hard on them because they were unpaid. They're getting paid now. I'm treating them like NFL athletes, and I get to be savage if I want to be savage to them.
Agreed. I can rub your nose in it if I want to because you're getting paid.
Exactly.
Right, a couple other guys. They're not millionaires, most of them.
I don't know.
Jerome Carver. Well, no, I know that most of them are not millionaires. I do know that.
Not yet.
No, it's never going to get to that point. But Jerome Carvin and Jeremiah Crawford are two others on the offensive line. You know, this offensive line was supposed to be a weakness. Caleb, it's guys, both of you jump in there. It's turned out to be a strength, and they're both seniors. So obviously, we're illustrating it. not intentionally, but there's some rebuilding to do. But those two guys too have helped turn this offensive line into a team strength.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, no one thought this offensive line was going to be any good this year. I mean, they thought they would be decent, but no one thought that they would be this good, this dominant, able to let, Hooker and Heupel just run this offense like they have. If not for this offensive line, Hooker wouldn't have so much time in the pocket. Hooker wouldn't be able to make those decisions. I mean, even when some plays get blown up, he still can sit back there. And I mean, I was counting during Alabama, Tennessee, like counting, that guy had enough time to make a sandwich back there if he wanted to. I mean, people weren't getting to him. And on the NIL thing, if I was making as much money as most of these players are making right now, and I catch a lot of flack on YouTube, then I'd say, yeah, that's fine.
You don't know what most of these players are making. Most of these players aren't going to be millionaires. Most of these players are making a decent salary, but that's not the point. So
let's also talk about for the transfers. We also don't know how much money they were making in McDonald's bags. And so
that's true. So the point is they've been making money for a lot longer than just since NIL became a thing. Byron Young is an incredible story. He worked at the Dollar General. I mean, how many guys worked at the Dollar General and their football career was pretty much over? And they said, no, I think I'm going to go to junior college and I think I'm going to resurrect my college career. Byron Young right now could easily be a regional manager of the Dollar General stores, but instead he's going to go I would say, Caleb, third, fourth round at the lowest in the NFL. I think he's got a bright NFL future, NIL future. I think he's got a bright future making money playing college football instead of bagging groceries.
I agree. And there's going to be a movie about him someday. Even if he's not like an NFL star, there needs to be a movie. If there could be a movie about Rudy, the ultimate participation trophy award of all time, then there could be a movie about Byron Young, who worked his way into college and was an actual valuable player for Tennessee.
Yeah. Or Rudy. Michael Orr.
Well, there was a movie about him.
No.
Yeah. There could be a movie about him. Yeah, you're right.
If there's one about Michael Orr, they can make one.
They could make one about Byron.
How about a sequel?
Well, first of all, The Blind Side. There's a lot of lies in that movie.
There's a whole lot of lies.
A whole
lot of payment going on from Ole Miss.
Well, of course, that's not. I mean, no one thinks that in their hearts of hearts they did that.
Yeah, they didn't bring Michael Orr in out of the goodness of their hearts. He was already. There were a bunch of families that he had been with at the time, and he just liked them the best. And yeah, they were trying to funnel him to Ole Miss. He wanted to go to Tennessee. We all know that.
Oh, yeah. I talked to him about it, and he said that he thought Philip Fulmer was his by far favorite coach. It wasn't even close. And I thought to myself that I thought, man, he's going to Tennessee. And then like a week later, he committed to Ole Miss. So,
yeah.
I mean, that story is a story. I'm still waiting for the sequel. Has anyone seen, though, when they mix it up and they make it like it's a horror movie?
With Peyton Manning, yeah.
or no, the one where they got Sandra Bullock. She's like, "You will come to my house," and but they make her like with red eyes and stuff. So like she said it in a sweet way in the movie. You will come to my house, and be taken care of. But they make it look like with all this music underneath it. Has anybody seen that one?
I've seen. Well, the ESPYs did a version of that, but like a joke with Peyton Manning, where Sandra Bullock is capturing Peyton Manning, and they dub Peyton Manning in on the Blind Side clips. But I didn't know there was another one.
Well, I saw one on Dumb and Dumber, if it was a thriller last night, and it was classically funny, not as funny as the movie that Amanda loves.